Alright, howdy folks, welcome back. Told you I'd be back. Alright, my microphone set up here was backwards. There we go. Alright, how's everybody doing out there on their second day of Christmas coming up here on the 13th here? Alrighty, so let's back out of this. That was the Czech Republic. They just got hammered. So, seems like every day somewhere around the planet is just getting washed away. And thankfully, it wasn't us today. Alright, so here we are at our solar report. Let me get this loop started here. Alright, there we go, real quick. 12/12/23. Alright, this is where we had that comet come in last night. Doesn't appear to have made it around the backside. Although there is kind of an explosion right there. I don't think that's it though. I think it just kind of evaporated, which is a good thing because we don't need a shotgun blast coming around the other side of multiple pieces on multiple trajectories, so that we can't track. And that's the direction the Earth would travel, would be that way into it. So that wouldn't have been a very good scenario. Anyway, it didn't happen. Here's your activity on the sun for today. We did have a good CME right there. Okay, so we'll go through that one frame by frame for a sec. But you can see the comet streaking in there. Boom. Just kind of evaporates into this little dark pit right here. Alright, there's our CME. Let me back this up a little bit. Something wrong here. We got a little bit better than I can see. Alright, there we go. Let's back up a couple more frames. So there we go. Here it is coming out from behind the occulter here. As it emerges, you can see all this plasma that it's taken with it. It's got like a zigzag. It looks like they crisscross. It's almost like a helix type structure with it could be like different polarities or something, but it looks to have almost kind of like an X shape on it. I don't know if that's picking it up too well. My camera's not the best. Oh, there we go. It's picking it up a little better. All right, there you go. So you can see this plasma that came off with it. The object's like right in here, I think, but it's really faint and hard to see in this image, especially over here because the camera blinds it so much. But you see this indentation right here? I think it's right there, and that's it's kind of the same spot right here. Anyways, it pulled out quite a bit of plasma with it. I don't think it's coming our direction, but we did have a little CME today on the 12th, right after, well, not right after, but sometime after that comet evaporated. So it really doesn't look like that's a reaction to our comet, and I don't think the other one was either. So as this progresses out now, you can see it. Here's a shot right over here where you can barely make out the object. It's actually, you know what? That's our best shot right there. Let's just go ahead and grab it while we can. All right. Right here, you can see the top of the spheroid sticking up. It's still enveloped in plasma around the front half of it right here, but you can see the top half of it sticking up through here. There we go. Wait. Let me, there we go. Couldn't see it because it's... There we go. You can see this top half sticking out right here. There's plasma kind of covering the front half of it. So it's not very much of a grab, but there's a round object enveloped in the plasma in there. Okay, so as we get back to business here, you see it kind of expand. It's going like south and behind us, if it is even coming our direction. All right, so there wasn't much activity today, just this sun diving comet finishing up. It didn't really come out the backside, which is good. See this little blast? That would be some kind of reaction if it had made it around there, but it doesn't really appear to be. It's just a slight CME right there. That could be it right there, the secondary one, but it doesn't appear to be. I think that thing just incinerated. Here's another little object, though, that's creeping up the top here. This little guy. Let me back it up real quick. You see him kind of come out of nowhere. He's, in the solar wind up here, kind of puncturing through, and then you can see it towards the end there. Some of these things don't make it so close to the sun as to set off a CME. Other times they're caught way out here in the solar wind like that, and when they get into the flow there, they make a little eddy or a little bump. Okay, so put that back into motion real quick, let that finish off. Kind of want to get through the solar report so we can get on to the spiritual report tonight. So hopefully some of you, I know some of you are enjoying this. So there's your solar right there. Let's get on over to the solar ham and do this part real quick. Ooh, that brightened up a little bit. All right, first let's do this part. Slide it over and pull it up. There's your GOES X-ray flux today. This box right here, boom. And you can see we had a few little spikes, boom, 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 but nothing too bad. Something to notice is how choppy all these are here yesterday, how just really sporadic the line is until right about here. Then it starts to smooth out and just kind of flow. So it looks like we came through some kind of, just some kind of field or whatever that caused the sun to be super, excited, having all these objects setting all this stuff off. And now it seems like right after this line starts to smooth out and just start to roll. So it looks like maybe we're over some kind of event right there. Now, as we pull back out of this and finish this up, X flare potential went back down to 5. M flares back down to 25. See that they're agreeing the sun's calming down here, which is good. Something over here on this side, our KP went up to, what is it, 4 right here. So we did have a slight little impact in a KP event, but nothing too drastic. 4 is mild. The auroras right now, this was a little fainter, less aurora earlier, and right now as I'm looking, this is starting to get a little yellow band right here in the middle, very slightly. So we're taking on, a mild to medium little absorption event right now. And like I said, this was a lot faint, more faint or fainter, less glowy, however you want to say it, earlier. So it looks like since I set up, we're starting to enjoy a new absorption event. Let's come on down to the tracker, see if they track that latest CME. Yeah, they show it just very faintly going down this way. I'm not even going to zoom in. There's not much to see. Yeah, space weather's been pretty quiet. We got this huge coronal hole that's finally rotated around. So that's probably our impact right here is from this coronal hole. I think we're done there. Let's move on over to this one. Oh yeah, the Schumann. Okay. Come here, you. Set up, scooch, all that great stuff. Let's try not to spill my drink. Right there. Okay, yeah, about there's pretty good. Okay, where'd my pointer go? You can see we came through this little screeching event, and it was mild. It wasn't too strong. Here's these little segmented lines. They almost remind me of almost like squeaking. If you took your rubber-soled shoe on a wet floor and you tried to push it forward while stepping down, you'll feel it'll squeak and give little pulses, and I think that's what these tiny little lines are, just little pulses right there where it's kind of like that, kind of pulsing. Anyways, after we came out of this event, I want you to look here. All right. We got pretty dim right in this zone right here. You can see it darkens down in this area too. From here to here, there still is a line, but it's very faint. Okay, it shows up okay on this. Let me get the best I can here for you. It's not a complete shutdown or nothing, but the field got a little weak right in there, all right? And you can see the little shadowing going down through here and stuff. But then, as we're coming out of it, you see it starting to brighten up right now as we're talking. So it looks like we're going into another small event here, all right? We have that latest pulse that I just showed you on the auroras coming in. That'll probably take effect here in a few hours, and we'll see a little screeching event come out of this in the next coming hours. All right, now let's get on over to the earthquake report. Back that up. Push this forward again. Thank you for putting up with my low-tech show. Everybody has such nice microphones and all these wonderful things to play with, and I got a broken camera with an old second-hand laptop. But we still make it work, don't we, Lord? Thank you. All right, let's move on in here. Starting with our deep quake, a 4.3 at 4:09. There was a second deep quake here. It was another, I think it was a 4.4. So there were two little small deep quakes, and the other one looks like it's gotten bumped off the map by now because there's been activity since then. But starting off in our deep region here with a 4.3 at 4:09. All right, then that energy comes over here, triggers what, 5 energy? There's a 5.6. That's a pretty good quake right there. 5.6 at a depth of 10 on this boundary plate. Then it enters this system over here with a 5.1 at a depth of 35. Up here, we have a 5.0 at a depth of 10. Here at our little quake swarm area where we had our new weak spot, the activity has really died down. Okay, there were a few more quakes here that seems they got bumped off the map too. But the biggest of the ones being a 5.1. We also had a 4.9 somewhere here. That was the other one that got bumped off. But so the activity is quieted down here with a 4.6, 4.7, and this 5. Nothing on the other plate now. Okay, so the pressure is kind of reduced in this area. Again, we're having a little, the Earth is taking a little sigh, a little breath from the pressure. But up here, we've see some energy has traveled up here. We were talking about this region last night. So just north of it is 4.7 at the Volcano Islands in Japan here. I wonder if those are going off. There was a couple of new volcanoes that are added to the list today too. Now, this is what I want to talk about up here. We haven't had much, if anything, along this plate boundary for a while. We had one small one on the peninsula, but everything else has been really volcanic activity in the peninsula. Now we finally have a quake here, but it's still not on the plate boundary. Now these quakes in this little pocket here, you see this, it's almost like a underwater shelf. It's underwater, but you can see the depth of it. It's higher than the rest of the ocean. It's like a shelf area. It looks like it has drained out at one time and was a lake right here at one point. All right. In this region, we get these deep quakes sometimes, okay? And this one is one of those. It's a 4.4 down at 430, okay? So this isn't a surface quake. This isn't energy being released along, along the plate boundary like we're used to seeing energy being released. This is energy down below in this region. This might cause some other little subquakes around it, or may trigger a small quake in this region, or it might just keep venting through these volcanoes. But finally, here's a quake in this region, and it's in this pocket where we get these deep ones, and we have a 4.4 down at 430. All right, that's almost deeper than the quake we had at Fiji. Not much really going across these two little mouse farts. A 4.3, that's decent actually, and a 4.1 right there. So actually, we see 4.4 and 4.1. Yeah. These are almost the same magnitude. This energy is kind of hopped over here, it's traveling along here. 4-point energy coming over the hump. And we had a quake here, a 3.6. So that's just south of our fulcrum point right here. I believe our energy is already kind of, this 4-point energy has made it over and set off a couple of quakes here, because this one was red when I went live. So this is a recent quake. And a 3.6, so that's nice. Here at Texas, let's just talk about this for a second. We got a few here. It's a little cluster, you see that? We got 3.1, a 3.3. These are very, very shallow too. 2.6 and 3.1. So 3, magnitude 3 plus, and a 2.6 or something there. And it's a weakness in the crust in this area. We know why. Okay, so little activity in Texas, not too much. Not too much going on the earthquake report. What's this? A 4.6 down at Guatemala. It's nothing. Out here, this is one I wanted to approach to. This plate boundary. Let's see if we can get this to show up on my screen. Right there. I think it does. All right, we have this plate boundary, comes down, does the zigzag, loops around, does a horseshoe effect, and almost connects back. It takes a hard left right here, but then finishes, and there's a subterranean ridge that finishes it off. It's not fault line, it's a ridge. So there's almost a complete round plate, a little sub-platelet, a little round one in the middle of all these plates where they all come together. Right on this round horseshoe effect thing is this quake. It's a 5.4. Down at a depth of 10, that's still right at the surface, especially under the ocean. That's right at the surface. So as we back out, it makes this round geological effect right there. We have the plate zigzag down like that. It comes up, does almost a full circle, and then the rest of it comes down, and here's almost another horseshoe, almost full circle. These are out in the middle of the Atlantic, and when this plate rolls and rocks like that, these little things roll and swivel to let this plate adjust. All right, they almost look like hinges or little areas where the plate is allowed to swivel. And on that little three-way junction, that little swivel spot, is this 5.4. Okay, this is an area to watch now. Even though it's not a big quake, it's the perfect spot for releasing energy right there. Anywhere else I want to talk about, Lord? No. Oh, up here, 4.7 on this ridge. That's pretty quiet today, so we've had a little lull in the activity, which is good. There were 2 new volcanoes added to the list, but that was yesterday. And I really... Oh, here. No, we talked about that. Yeah, we covered pretty much all of those. I really didn't want to talk too much about the volcanoes. Let me see if I can pull up the volcano. Let me just do a quick volcano report in case anything has changed. There it is. Yes, bear with me for a second here. Volcanoes today. Dogs prepare you for babies. How true is that? Okay. Please load up. That's why I was afraid of kind of coming over here, because I didn't want to jam up the flow of the show. Santa Guito, Krakatau, Merapi, Samaru. I can see that sticking up for the moment. Come on. It's all the ads that take so long to load up. No, come on. Yeah, see if I ever do that again. Alright, we'll do a volcano report another night. It's pretty much quieted down a little bit too. I was going to point out the 2 new ones, but we can do that another night. 4.3 right here in Iran, I just noticed there at a depth of 10. So, pretty quiet out there. You see some energy still kind of crickling and crackling along some plate boundaries here. Even up here, deeper activity. So, kind of quiet for the night there. Let's go over to this weather forecast and bang this one out real quick, and then get to the the spiritual report. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into motion and just let you watch this all gel together here in Texas and here. These 2 still collide a little sooner now than our last model, but that turns into quite a monster with a lot of icing and stuff. Let me move my cursor out of the way. There we go. And we can even zoom in while we're doing that. Alright, there we go. Let that loop play for a second. Look at the Pacific Northwest gets hit. And then this blossoms up from the Gulf. These 2 come together here over Georgia and Alabama, Florida. Boom. And right up the eastern seacoast. That whole wide trough of severe weather that went right up through there. Oh boy. All right, well, let's get into this then. Back out so I can use the buttons. Okay, current conditions. Right there, not much. the morning of the 13th. Let me get this a little bit better for you. There we go. So, morning of the 13th, the noontime, we see this moisture sneak on up here the morning of the 13th, all right? So that moisture is hiding out in that area. You're going to have rain through Texas and stuff into the convection hours of the 13th. Then into the night of the 13th, the morning of the 14th, here's the noontime, the end of convection. Then at the nighttime, it starts to get a little more severe here. We're getting more convection at night again here in this event. Here, it's going to be right at the Oklahoma-Texas border. The Panhandle's right there, both. Then it really gets severe in the morning of the 15th. Then it starts to travel across Texas as this one comes up. These two join together over here. This is the noon of the 15th. The end of convection, the 15th. This could be possibly a little bit stronger right there. Both of them could. That's the nighttime of the 15th. Then we get into the morning of the 16th. Noontime. The end of convection right there. That's when the cloud tops are at the highest. The sun's gone, full steam all day, and then the cloud tops finally, produce. So they start to collapse and fall, and you get your rain. I'm zooming in because this just doesn't do it justice. I'm going to have to... look how wide this band of severe weather is. It's the entire peninsula. I mean, red going from offshore all the way up, back down across and offshore of Florida there, coming up here into Louisiana too. All right, this whole yellow area is severe weather, with the red being very severe. Okay, so that's Florida. Let me see if I can just boom. Now I lost my time reference, but that's our next frame right there, and we're looking at southern Georgia, southern Alabama, the Panhandle of Florida, the northern part of Florida, right there, with all this red stuff whipping back onshore there. Let me do this. Camera back just a tad bit. Okay, so let me back up one. This was the end of convection, sundown on the 16th. All right, so if you got travel plans or whatever, if you're in that region at that time of the year, the end of convection, this thing's going to fire up here in Florida, going up into Georgia and Alabama like that, into the nighttime. Then as we go overnight, this is the morning hours of the 17th. It's getting up into South Carolina now. Back here into Alabama. See it curving and rotating back here. This is going to be a very dangerous storm. Right there, that's the nighttime, or no, the noon time of the 17th. So go back. So from the convection, the sundown of the 16th through the morning, or into the morning there, into the noontime, into the end of convection. We got severe weather back here just south of Ohio, in Kentucky, West Virginia. A lot of water in here too, and high winds. So not only are we having severe weather, but a lot of water and a lot of high winds, a lot of hail probably coming with this. So the sun goes down, we go into the nighttime. There's still severe weather at Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio. That as we go into the morning of the 18th. Go back to the morning of the 18th, up there into New York, all these islands along the coast here. So the morning into the noontime right there. So severe weather hitting New York, upstate New York, as well as Manhattan, New York City, Massachusetts, the whole area at the noontime. Going into convection, this is where your cloud tops are going to be at their highest or strongest probably. And it's up here in New Hampshire, rotating back into upstate New York still, going up into Maine. Look at this right here. Maine and, what is this, Nova Scotia is going to get, that is gnarly. That's a big, wide patch. It covers most of the state of Maine. That whole severe area covers most of the state of Maine. That's really, really dark purple icing. We're talking 16. Well, no, that's the rain. Well, that might be the rain. 16 inches of rain up here, possibly. It's snow on the backside. That's the morning of the 19th. The noon of the 19th, convection the 19th, then the noontime of the nighttime of the 20th, nighttime of the 19th, morning of the 20th. There we go. And you see how it's still rotating around this big patch of ice up in Maine. Wow. And then moving out by nighttime of the 20th up into Canada for a little bit. So that was just quite a monster. All right, the rest of this is too far out to really kind of go into detail. So let's just kind of watch that thing blossom from down here first. Wow. All right, one more time. Because that's going to be from like the 17th on. So everybody needs to start preparing in that region for some nasty weather. And this could change drastically. We got intense weather in that region, and it can still adjust and change at a moment's notice, get worse or less. But that's going to be headlines for a while there after it happens. So everybody pray, get ready. If you're traveling that time of the season out there, be ready for delays, cancellations, headaches, nightmares, or whatever. So fair warning for that next storm coming in. Everybody needs to take that thing seriously. That thing right there. And depending, if we have any events on the sun that come our way during this time frame, they gets up to this point and something impacts us on that time frame, wouldn't be good either. So let's all just kind of pray that it doesn't get any worse than this is already predicting. Let's pray that this actually goes away and mellows out. Because that has the potential to do a lot of damage to a lot of area. I mean, wipe out the eastern seaboard for right before Christmas would not be nice. All right, enough of that. Let's get on over to the spiritual report, where we're going to start where we pick up where we left off last night. All right, so here we are over at the Revelation 12 star alignment, okay? Because we're going in chronological order, how all this started happening, all right? And it's kind of the order of the dots, all right? So we did the first dot last night. Here's the second dot tonight, being the Revelation 12 star alignment, okay? And while we're here, I just want you to know, well, in the video, it'll tell you, September 23rd of 2017. So we had the event that I showed you last night, Nibiru and Nemesis showing up on September 10th of 2017. Can I please have this full screen? Thank you. And then, just 13 days after that happened, this happened. Okay, so let me go ahead and set up this video for you, and we'll enjoy this. It's only 5 minutes, so it's Revelation 12 in 5 minutes. Let me get some volume going here. Please, Lord. Okay, that should be good. Oh, wait. We just got something playing in the background. Hold up. What did I not close out? Oh. This is epic music. Please close out. There we go. Now maybe we can get back to this.
Prophecy, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun.
Alright, let me start this over. I want you guys to take note of this date, alright?
On September 23rd, 2017, the sun, moon, and stars will align to fulfill a 2,000-year-old prophecy. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. Before you click off this video, I understand there's been many false predictions, false prophecies over the years. This is different. Bear with me and see. First, you need to understand that God made the sun, moon, and stars, and they all obey his order. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in a season? So we see here that God himself says that he moves the constellations. They obey his ordained order. There's many more verses. Please pause the video to see them. They'll also be in the description. Okay, so we have the constellation of Virgo clothed with the sun. And then, as you can see here, the moon is under her feet, and above her head is the 9 stars from the constellation Leo, plus the 3 planets that align perfectly. And to fulfill the birth prophecy, you have Jupiter that stays in the womb for 9 months. Absolute precision. Another thing you must realize is this is not astrology. This is the lost knowledge of biblical astronomy. Stick with me, and you'll see. Let's start at the beginning and see what God said. And let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Jesus himself said that when he returns, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Think about this. If God wanted to speak to all his children across the entire earth and speak to them all at once in the same universal language, how would he do it? Look at Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. When Jesus was born, it was marked in the stars. The 3 wise men saw his star in the east and knew of it. What makes you think his second coming would be any different? Isn't this sign just the retelling of Jesus' birth? And didn't he say no man knows the day or the hour? We look at Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. Revelation 1:1 shows us that the Father showed all things to Jesus when he ascended to the throne, and he showed us in the book of Revelation. Jesus himself, when he spoke to the churches, said that his believers, his followers, if they overcome and hold his words to the end, they would rule with a rod of iron. This is a very specific passage that connects Revelation 12 and a prophecy of what's going to happen for his believers. Alright, so are we just cherry picking a couple verses and trying to put a prophecy behind it, or is this found anywhere else in the Bible? I'm glad you asked. Unfortunately, we will not be able to read all these verses. Please feel free to pause and take a look at each one of these coinciding verses, which are all pieces to this grand puzzle. Well, what does it all mean? No one knows exactly. What's very interesting is the language that is used in Revelation 12, where the child is caught up unto God. The word caught up is the Greek word harpazo. It's the same word used in Thessalonians when Paul describes the rapture. We are not saying this is what's going to happen, but it is certainly intriguing and worthy to be aware of. The main message is to know that this alignment has not happened in the last 2,000 years since its prophecy. It's imperative to know that this ministry is not date setting. The facts are the facts. This alignment is set for September 23rd, 2017. Some have run the numbers, and the odds of this are in the trillions. And just 33 days before September 23rd, on August 21st, a total eclipse cuts the United States in half, which is extremely rare and we feel is very prophetic. So again, to quickly recap, you have a woman clothed the sun, the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars above her head, who just gave birth after a 9-month pregnancy. Please know this is barely even scratching the surface of how in-depth all this is. Please visit this channel and many others, especially Scotty Clark, who has done all the research for you. A link to Scotty's channel and all other Watchmen will be available in the description box below. So I leave you with this. The evidence is at hand. Do you know Jesus Christ? Is he your Savior? Have you asked him for forgiveness of your sins? Because I assure you, time is running out. And if you have not accepted Jesus yet as your Savior, I invite you to now. Because if you confess that Jesus Christ has been raised from the dead and is your
Okay,
Savior,
that's
you will...
what I really needed. That was about it. I need to show you there was that star alignment actually took place on September 23rd, 2017. 13 days after that, the sign that God showed me there. So, all right. So, this was the second thing in the chronological order that happened. Then, after about a week later, well, no, this is about 11 days later. I finally made that video that you saw, the revelation or the wake up call one. Come on now, really? There we go. Let's start playing this one here for you. Alright, and we're going to do this video. A lot of you have seen this, but I'm trying to connect the dots here for you. You can see the chronological order that all this happened in. Alright, so here we go with this one. Howdy folks, welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it, so if I told you. So I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you got her eye and her nose coming down, her coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel, the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head, there's a glow over the head, the wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here, and you can make out the angel right here, and you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. What happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even describe it.
I was in crying, screaming, and praying. An experience I'd never felt before.
All right,
All three of them
so
at the same time. It was
all right, so hopefully you can see that Mary's face right there, and this orb with an eye in it. Hopefully you saw the angel there. All right, now. Yeah, I know. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Okay. Anyways, sorry, we had a little interference there. A little company popped in during the show. All right. Anyways, here, this event happened on October 5th of 2017. So this was what, 12 days afterwards. All right. This shows on my security camera. All right. After making that wake up call video, I finally got it done and I was a mess. I went down here. I started crying. I was screaming and praying. Why, Lord? Why are you doing this to me? And later on, I went back through the video just to see, check my nightly video or whatever, what was going on. And I saw, that's when I was down there. And then I saw this on there. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? So this happened right after the Revelation 12 sign. And then as the years went by, I was digging deeper in my security videos to see if I had captured anything else. For years, I thought this was the first thing that my cameras had captured. So it wasn't for a couple of years later that I went back through some of this old security camera footage. I found another event that happened the day before this one. So 11 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment, this event happened first before the day before the Mary event, right here. And I'm going to start it there. All right, so hopefully I'm going to start it there.
On to my next picture. Okay, in this image here, you can see we're still in the garage with our same display right here. And this was captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. And I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw, she's smiling, she's looking down and she's holding a baby, and here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head, here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her, and you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God. Yep, it's a lot better there. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better now than before. We'll undo the filter real quick just so you can get the original. Now you can see the baby's head just a little bit better. You can make out his little ear. And then we'll put the filter back in again. And there we go. There's your Revelation 12 baby being born right there in my garage, caught on my security camera. So that's it for now.
Okay, so pretty crazy stuff started happening there, and I'm wondering at this point what's going on, right? I'm getting married, an angel showing up. I got God showing me this subject eating the sun, and then I put it together. This is Revelation 12. I'm going to read it real quick while we got this up here. I'm sure most of you here at this channel already know Revelation 12 quite well. But in there, just going to read it right out the Bible. A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that he may devour her child the moment it was born. So he was already there, ready, before the birth, to devour the child the moment it was born. So the dragon shows up before the woman, and that's what I showed you. In the prophecy, it makes it sound like that happens afterwards, and that's when everybody missed it. They all saw the woman and the stars, then they expected the dragon, and nobody saw it. God showed it to me and said, hey, everybody missed it. Here's the dragon. So we have Revelation 12 actually coming true in more than just the star alignment, all right? We have it coming true with the pre-sign, the dragon showing up in front of the woman 13 days before. Then we have the star alignment itself. Then we have this event, the baby being born, and the next day, Mary and angels show up. Okay? So all these things are happening to me in accordance and in the time frame that this calls for. And it starts to get, a little spooky at this point. I'm going, whoa, why is all this stuff showing up around my house and stuff? I wonder if this happened to everybody else. I wonder if everybody else's security camera caught this stuff at that time frame. But I guess not, because nobody else has got this kind of material. So we're going to kind of leave it at that. That's our second day of Christmas, our second dot in the dot to dots, all right? Now, I say this dot to dot thing, we got to remember something I need to stipulate with all that is these dots are not only miracles, all right? These are miracles. This is a miracle. This is a prophecy foretold 2,000 years that came true. I call that a miracle. Dragon showing up 13 days, the Nibiru Nemesis thing that's talked about, kinds of hieroglyphics, came true. That's another miracle. These miracles, these dots, are signs as well as miracles, as well as hints and clues. All right? These are clues and hints towards a revelation. All right? So all of these dots that I'm showing you are miracles as well as clues as well as hints, because God works in multiple dimensions in multiple ways with multiple meanings at multiple times. So there's a lot going on more than just the star alignment. The preceding sign, this sign, then the baby being born, and then Mary and the angel showing up right on time, kind of as it was described in the Bible. Okay, so in order for you to see this bigger picture, you have to view all of these things, these signs, these dots, as miracles, hints, and clues, or else you won't be able to see the bigger picture. So when viewed from that perspective, which is kind of what God was intending here, was these are clues. He's giving you signs. A sign is like a hint. Hey, this was the celestial signpost. We were at an angle in space in order to see this happen. That means if you were at this angle and you saw this event, you're passing a certain region in space. It's a celestial signpost by God saying you are now entering the end times. All right? And this should have stopped the world right here, but everybody kind of poo-pooed it and just kind of moved on. But little did they know there was a sign that happened before it. And then there were a couple other things that started happening to me right after this. All right? So that's the second dot in our series for tonight. And then we're going to come on over here for tonight. We'll close out with a... Whoopsie. I need to go to my channel. I'm already there. We need to back up. Got a good image. We'll go to this one for tonight. Read. Because all this is leading up to this image right here and how we got to this point, okay? So if we follow this dot to dot and draw out this picture, you'll understand how we got to this point of this event, and then you will understand how real it is. And it won't just look like a pretty little cloud formation anymore. You will see the seriousness in this event and this image right here. Okay, so that's the little path we're going down. Thanks for hanging there with me and putting up with me. Let me kind of do it this way. It's kind of the only way it can be done. So we're just gonna methodically work through it over the 12 days of Christmas. And on the 24th, when we finish up this mosaic of dots and we see the bigger picture, you'll have a new Christmas gift from me to you on Christmas. All right. Now, oh, that was upside down because it went backwards. So, hang on. I'm trying to get my reading straight here. I have a certain way I want to set this up. So, okay, it goes that way now. Alrighty, here we go. Live first and foremost in my presence. Gradually, you will become more aware of me than people and places around you. This awareness will not detract you from your relationship with others. Instead, it will increase your ability to give love and encouragement to them. My peace will permeate your words and your demeanor. You will be active in the world, yet one step removed from it. You will not be easily shaken because my enveloping presence buffers the... This is the path I have set before you, and as you follow it wholeheartedly, you experience abundant life and peace. Okay, so the point on this, I wanted to really make... you will be active in this world, yet one step removed from it. After knowing this knowledge, I'm asking you guys now, after seeing this and seeing some of these, do you guys now feel one step removed? Can you feel it now? Can you feel that from the rest of society, you are one step removed from it? And you will not be easily shaken because my enveloping presence buffers the blow of your problems. This is the path I have set before you. As you follow it wholeheartedly, you experience abundant life and peace. Okay? That's how this works. Back up and go to the next one. So, walk with me in the freedom of forgiveness. The path we follow together is sometimes steep and slippery. If you carry a burden of guilt on your back, you are more likely to stumble and fall. At your request, I will remove the heavy load from you and bury it at the foot of the cross. When I unburden you, you are undeniably free. So stand up straight and tall in my presence so that no one can place more burdens on your back. Look into my face and feel the warmth of my love light shining upon you. It is this unconditional love that frees you both from fears and sins. Spend time basking in the light of my presence. As you come to know me more and more intimately, you will grow increasingly free. back up and go forward to. So, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as for working for me, not for men. Half-heartedness is not pleasing to me, nor is it good for you. It's tempting to rush through routines and tasks and do them sloppily just to get them done. But this negative attitude will pull you down lower your sense of worth. Okay, so that negative attitude pulls you down and lowers your sense of worth. If you do the same task with a thankful heart, you can find pleasure in them and do a much better job. Now, at this point is where I want to hold up for a second. Now, when you're having fun, time flies, right? Time flies when you're having fun. But when you're at work, time seems to just drag on and on and on. You look up at the clock and it's like, oh my God, it's only been 30 seconds. Well, that's because you're in this mind state of work. It's not pleasurable, it's work. If you can trick your mind into having fun at work, what happens when you're having fun? Oh, time flies. So if you want time to fly by at work, start having fun at work, and the next thing you know, work's over, and you're like, oh man, I was just starting to have fun. So there's your trick. It's a mental trick inside your mind that you have to unlock, and it really helps if you take that negative attitude that pulls you down and lowers your sense of worth and turn around to be thankful with it and try to have fun at the task at hand. It becomes a pleasure, and then the time goes by faster. Next thing, like I said, the next thing you know, you're looking up at the job's done, the clock's already done too, and you're like, oh, it's already over. All right, so let me move on with this reading. So I wanted that little one to sink into you guys. It's a little trick I've learned along the way. If you're doing something arduous and the time is just creeping by, try to have fun. I don't know, find some way, sing a song, whistle, be imaginative, but try to be cheerful and have fun, and the time will go by faster. Now, back to this. It's helpful to remember that every moment of your life is a gift from me. Instead of feeling entitled to better circumstances, make the most of whatever I provide, including your work. When I put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, I instructed them to work it and take care of it. Even though it was a perfect environment, it was not a place of idleness or total leisure. So, whatever you do, you are working for me. So give me your best efforts, and I will give you joy. Okay? You putting some hard work in, you feel good at the end of the day. I didn't like it at first. The time was creeping by, but Brian was right. I started whistling a tune, started having fun, and we banged that sucker up and look back at it, and it looks great. Hey, I feel better. Okay, back up and go to this next one. All right. So, to the one who is thirsty, I will give water free of charge from the spring of my water of life. Drink deeply from this spring, so that I can live abundantly in you. Let the water of life soak deep into the depths of your being, refreshing and renewing you. Since this life water is free, you can have as much of it as you want, as much of me as you want. I am Christ in you, the hope of glory. So, I long for you to thirst for me, your God, more and more. Thirst is a very powerful appetite. This is necessary because drinking sustains life even more than eating. Pure water is a much healthier choice than canned drinks full of sugar or chemicals. Similarly, thirsting for me, first and foremost, is crucial for your spiritual health. Though other things may seem to satisfy you for a while, they will not slake the thirst of your soul. So rejoice that what you need most is free of charge. Joyously draw water from the spring of salvation. Okay? So I hope you guys heard that message loud and clear. I hope you're enjoying the second day of Christmas, this little little thing what we're doing here. Some of you have already, I've already personally done the dots with, and you know where this ends already. You got a little hint, I think, of where it's going, and that's where we're gonna go for Christmas. So hang in there as we go through these this little format that I'm doing, and the absence of solar activity to report on. We're gonna do some more spiritual work leading up to the holidays, and when you get the gift at the end, you'll understand what this was all about. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I am back. Can't you tell? Oh, we're still going. No, we're not.